If you're at the start of the game and looking for easy, accessible ways to increase your damage, or if you've been playing for a while and want to speed through the grind faster, I've got plenty of tips in this video. And go! Here's our maximum damage with our heavy attack. We're hitting for over 2,000 damage per hit. We can stack so many different buffs at the same time in this game to increase our power, and most people have no idea they can use more than one thing at once. So let's go over everything that I'm stacking here and how you can easily make most of it at the start of the game. The only thing you're missing out on is the higher power combat stews and attack up dishes. The alchemist recipes are actually super accessible to early game players. So let's dive in. Combat power, attack, or magic attack up. We're gonna test that today because this video is all about stacking the maximum number of buffs to get your damage as high as possible. In order to test that, the roasted corn, and for our actual armor set, this brings our attack to 1,470, which is pretty dang close to 1,500, which is a pretty even number. I don't know, that's terrible logic, right? So here's the first thing you need to know about your damage. Just like Yokai Watch, it's random in the sense that you can vary above or below the typical number. So like here, I would say our average damage is like 1,050, but then we can roll higher or lower than that, right? It goes down to 990 and up to 1,093. But in exceptional instances, it can go a bit higher or lower than that. Additionally, critical hits are a thing. You can see that critical hits increase our damage by around 20%. The first buff that I'll be showing you guys today is Critical Aid. This potion lasts for 20 seconds. We can view our buffs that we have in effect by pressing left on the directional pad on the controller. Here you can see our critical hit rate is increased for the next few seconds. We're always getting crits. These are homemade potions, and if you want to know how to make them, I did a really nice tutorial video for that last week. It's extremely easy to craft critical aid potions in batches of 99, so feel free to endlessly spam them during battle to increase your damage for free. Moving on, you might be wondering if alchemist potions can overwrite each other. Well, let's test it out here. Critical aid, and here's a resistance aid to increase our defense. You can see that our effect count increased to 2 on the left of the screen. So we're clearly doing something right here. Since we now know that stacking potions works, let me show you a couple of my other favorites. This here gives you stagger immunity for 30 seconds. It's called the Daredevil Aid, and it's a daily alchemist crafting recipe. You obtain it the exact same way as the crit aid, so that video works for this as well. Just remember the glittering coral here, you'll need to farm from the sand sharks in the treasure groves. This isn't just important for powering your way through difficult to dodge attacks. By using the Daredevil Aid, you can guarantee yourself a revive on your allied NPCs. You will not get interrupted while performing God's Touch to revive your allies if you have stagger immunity from Daredevil Aid active. You can also use special skill charge up to make your special skill charge faster. I don't have one, so it's mainly useful when gathering. Now, if it's truly necessary, if you're fighting an enemy that has powerful magic attacks, you can use Magic Defense Up with Sealing Potion, a recipe obtained in Ginormosia. If you go to this Tortoise Town on Fangshore Isles, and you talk to the tool shop Tortoise here, he will have the Sealing Potion recipe available for 60 cash nuts. That way, instead of buying the cheap one that doesn't last a while from a merchant, you can make a homemade premium sealing potion that gives 30% magic defense instead of 20%. See, the resistance aid plus is 30% defense for 60 seconds, while resistance aid is 20%. To start everything off, the earliest power spike available in Fantasy Life I is right at Faraway Island. Fly straight to the first warp point here and head left to the tool shop lady. Click buy and go to her recipes. She has so many, and one of them is the Power Aid, one of the most important recipes for alchemists. You can craft it at any rank. There's no need to do life quests, and you need very low stats to craft this recipe successfully. You can obtain all 3 of the ingredients for the Powerade recipe on Faraway Island itself, making this recipe incredibly accessible to early players as soon as they reach this island. You won't need to wait until later to craft it. Just head to the restaurant up here at the Terrassa Farm Warp Point. Next, head inside the restaurant. Talk to the guy whose name is Restaurant, click buy, and head to that second tab. You'll see Faraway Spring Water. And that's exactly what we need to max out in order to make plenty of Powerades. It's fairly cheap. Don't forget about my quick dosh tutorial if you haven't started your sticker business yet. Now that we're at the farm here, we need to head straight inside Lullab Forest through this entry point. Head left, and when you get to the Applejack Ape Room, keep going left. From there, head upwards through the log, and you'll need to make your way past all these guys. Over to the right, one more room from the Killer Bears, and just keep heading straight right all the way until the end. Keep going, and you'll find the secret material shop inside Lullab Forest. He sells the cherry stick, very, very tempting. Additionally, the alkaloid you need can be found inside this shop, so max it out, and then go all the way to the bottom of the shop to find animal claws. Don't forget, he has a few interesting recipes here, and he also sells the brown horse saddle if you don't have that yet. That's all 3 of the ingredients you need to craft the strongest percent-based strength buff in the entire game, except for the Berserk Potion. Berserk Potion gives a plus 50% attack boost while lowering your defense by 50% as well. That automatically means some people won't like it, but I still do. Here's the real issue I have with Berserk Potion. The stupid recipe requires an evil shard for every batch of 4 Berserk Potion plus. The normal Berserk Potion is only plus 30% attack, so your Powerade Plus is just as powerful without debuffing your defense by half. But if you want to make a batch of 4 Berserk Potion, you need an evil shard from killing a Treasure Grove exclusive boss. Until they add another source of evil shards in a future update, and I'm sure they will, Berserk Potion is not the way to go when stacking buffs repeatedly over time. The situation will definitely change in an update, but until then, let's move on with Powerade, which gives a 30% buff if you craft the plus version yourself for 60 seconds. Here you can see attack up. Boom! We're now averaging 1,500 damage instead of 1,000. As our attack up runs out, let's watch our damage transform. Now we're back to 1,000. But here's the really weird thing to me, right? Look at the Powerade. It says it buffs our attack by 30%. So why does our actual damage increase by 50% there? So now I'm wondering, how much is our damage going to increase with Berserk Potion Plus? I'm sacrificing an evil shard for this. All right, Berserk Potion Plus 50% attack and minus 50% defense for 30 seconds. Let's drink it and test our hot. Wow! 1,900 damage, over 2,000 damage on the crits. It's quite the increase. However, check this out. If we use Powerade, it instantly overwrites the Berserk Potion, including disabling the defense down. So you can only have one of each type of potion active. So use your best one. However, as long as they're separate types, you can stack as many potions as you want. Watch. Powerade, stagger, crit. So now we have special skill charge up, critical rate up, stagger immunity, magic defense up, attack up, and defense up. But wait, there's more. You can have one cooking buff active at a time as well on top of that. So if we stack all of these, really mash through them here, we have 7 buffs active at the same time. We're hitting for over 1,000 damage on each of our R1 strikes here. Battle stats up gives you defense, attack, and magic attack at the same time. So the final question we're going to ask here is, if so many stews exist with combat power, why do attack and magic attack specific dishes only give 200 attack or magic attack? They're just straight up worse than stews, in my opinion. They don't even last any longer. So just to ensure there's nothing funky going on here, we're going to wait for all of our buffs to expire And then we're going to compare the Monstroganoff Plus, which is plus 200 combat power. We're going to compare it to the Roast of Legend Plus, which is plus 200 attack power. Roast of Legend is a pain to farm, so I'm curious why it would be straight up worse than the Monstroganoff. Oh, what? Something's funky here. So just to test it without any buffs again, here's my normal heavy attack with the Roasted Corn in full attack up armor set. We're averaging around 1400 damage, it seems. Now, let's try with a plus 200 attack Roast of Legend. 1700. 1660. Pretty good numbers. Let's switch on over to a Fiery Fish Stew, which gives 200 combat power. Will anything change? As you can see, our previous buff was erased because you can only have one cooking buff active at the same time. And honestly, it doesn't look like our damage changed at all, making combat stews definitively better than attack up or magic attack up dishes. Stop wasting all your resources on Roasts of Legend because Fiery Fish Stew and Monstroganoff are where it's at. Getting defense and magic defense at the same time while buffing your offensive stats is just way better than only getting offense, of course. Combine that with Daredevil Aid Plus for 30 seconds of stagger immunity, even if you don't think that you need defense. Stagger immunity will increase your damage per second by letting you power through attacks that don't deal much damage at all, especially since you can stack it with 30% defense up from resistance aid and some ceiling aid as well. If you like seeing how many different buffs we can stack in this video, then make sure to leave a like, subscribe for more comprehensive Fantasy Life I content, and drop a comment letting me know how you'd like me to waste all my items next. With love and peace, as always, thanks for watching.